Hi, friends. Welcome to Lotus in the Light. My name is Jennifer. Thanks for joining. This is going to be interesting. I feel like I'm being given a message that I don't really completely know where it's going to go, which is not uncommon. But not only do I not know where it's going to go, I'm not sure I really understand it. So I think we're going to be learning alongside each other, which happens all the time as well. But like this one's really going to be a lesson for me. Interesting. There's little cats walking by my door. Um, Cats are drawn to spirits, if you didn't know. So I think there's a lot of spirits here and present to help um, guide me through this message. So I just want to give thanks to Spirit for the guidance. Take a deep breath here. I join you to do that with me. And let's get going. Let's go tune in live on the other side and see what they got for us. So the message that I feel prompted to share about is about denying ourselves. And the message that's really coming through clear is that when we deny ourselves what the desires of our heart, it is a sign of sickness. Um, because we are, by design, we are made of pure love energy. So by design, we are wholeness. By design, we are oneness. And in remembering that in this life, if we can remember that, or when we choose to remember that, which may or may not happen in this lifetime for you, but for those that do remember and figure that out, they know that the experiences here that we will learn and grow from are all for our benefit, even the ones that feel negative. So, if we can remember that, this experience can be predominantly joy rather than predominantly suffering. Okay. But that's our choice. How we want to learn is our choice. Um, there's going to be challenges in life. That's required for the experience and expansion, right? You need that grit. You need the grit of sand that's in the to make the pearl. You need the pressure to cultivate the diamond, right? You need the fire to purify the clay and to remove it from the impurities or remove the impurities from it so that it can become the beautiful creation that it's intended to be. So challenges, yes, but rooted in suffering, no, that's a choice that we make when we experience those challenges, because we get caught up in our beliefs about it. And so what I'm being shown is that when we deny ourselves the things that we really want in this life, it's a sign that we are um, living into unhealthy belief systems and unhealthy narratives that tell us we can't have it, we shouldn't have it, we don't deserve it, we shouldn't have it if someone else can't have it. All these different narratives that give us all the reasons why we can't, won't, shouldn't, don't have the life that we want. A lot of us, for me, for example, come through the Christian faith where, you're taught to um, deny yourselves, pick up your cross, and follow Christ, which I actually wholeheartedly believe in. But I believe we have grossly misinterpreted this. And I think I've even done videos on this very text in the past. And I can't even remember which text it is that comes from. But, um, and the reason I think that we've grossly misinterpreted that is that we think to deny yourself is to deny your flesh, is to deny your humanness, deny anything that your humanness wants. These come out of Platonic philosophies of Plato, right? That we are dualistic, that we are human and spirit, but that the human side of us is bad, wrong, needs to be controlled, um, so on and so forth. And I do believe we are human and spirit. And if you're watching this, I'm going to guess that you might believe that too. However, I don't believe that one side of us is bad or wrong and the other side of us is pure and good. I believe that we are all inherently pure and good because we are made from love, and that this human experience is designed to give us contrast. We are in this human experience to forget, and this physical experience is the reminder that helps bring us back, okay, into our fullness. And so the way to find our way back in the human experience is to follow the breadcrumbs from God. And the breadcrumbs are your positive emotions, are the feelings of joy, peace, hope, love, patience, kindness, gentleness, right? All of those feelings, when you have an experience and you feel those feelings, that is God's way of saying, yes, you're in alignment. You're finding your way back to me. Okay. And that's your soul saying, see how good this feels? Because it's truth, or it's truth. It's either divine truth or it's closer to the truth than maybe where you've been in the past. And that's why it feels good. It might not be perfect, pure, divine truth and love, because in this life, um, our judgment is clouded. It's like looking at yourself through a foggy mirror, right? So it's like when it feels good, it's because you were able to, the mirror, the steam. You think about when you get out of the shower and the mirror is all steamy. And as it starts to dissipate and you can see yourself a little bit more clearly and a little bit more clearly, and the joy feeling lets you see yourself a little bit more clearly and a little bit more clearly, it's showing you more of who you really are. And the denial that the scriptures talk about, the Christian scriptures talk about, the denying yourself, what that's talking about is laying down the false self that you have, the armor that you have put on, the mask that you have put on, the costume that you have put on, that your ego, your thinking mind, that's what it's really talking about when it's talking about laying down and denying. It's denying the thinking mind the power to create your narrative, because the thinking mind doesn't have the whole picture, right? So it's saying, let's say thank you, but no thank you to this. Like, your thinking mind serves a very important purpose in your life that's related to helping you use reason and logic and strategy and organization and all these aspects of the left brain, right? That help us um, navigate a project, help us um, fulfill an objective, right? But it's not the GPS. And we have grown accustomed to allowing it to be the GPS. If this brain says no, danger, danger, we say no, don't do that. We don't want to step into danger. But truth, divine truth says there's nothing to fear. And perfect love conquers all fear, right? So there has to be a point where we make an intentional decision to deny this and trust this. Okay, that's what Jesus is talking about. Deny yourselves, take up your cross. So your cross is your purpose in this life. Um, and that's going to look different for everyone. The purpose in this life is just simply experience. But we also did come here to experience particular things, and those things are literally different for everyone. No two people have the same purpose in this life. So when we try to cookie cut and say everybody's life should look something like this, we deny their true selves, right? We're denying their true selves by putting them in that cookie cutter. And it's this thinking brain that puts us there. It's this thinking brain that says life is going to be easier if you wear these clothes and you accept these responsibilities, and you have a family that looks like this, and you have a career that looks like this, or you find a way to earn this much money so that you can have this car and this kind of house. And right, that's what the thinking mind wants. That's the costume the thinking mind wants you to wear. The sooner you can shed that and find your true authentic self again, that's the cross that Jesus is saying. Take up your cross, not my cross, not Jesus's cross, not anyone else's cross. When you take up your cross, meaning when you take up your purpose, when you take up your purpose, that's when everything changes, okay? And we don't have to seek or strive to find that or to do it. So when we think about denying ourselves, a lot of times we think that our human nature is to have these greedy wants and desires. And if we're all just out there trying to get a buck and trying to be rich and trying to have whatever, right? Um, then, the world would go to chaos. But here's what I would say to that. When we are striving for anything, when we are reaching, when we are clawing out, when we are grasping for anything, we are doing the opposite of not denying ourselves. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm speaking in double negatives. Okay. Let me tune in here because I see spirit's going somewhere with this and I'm not sure where. But when we are clawing, grasping for things, it means that we are reaching for things that aren't really what we want or need at the soul level. And we're talking about desires right now. So I'm not even going to use the word need. I'm going to stick with the word want. Okay. Um, Everything we want to experience in this life, the moment we desire it, it is made readily available for us. We just have to energetically align to it and allow ourselves to receive it. And so when we are not energetically aligned, what that means is that we have some belief system that will not allow us to align to it. And therefore we cannot receive it. So therefore we feel like we need to take things into our own hands and go out and get it. Okay. But that is forcing our way to the things that we think we want is another sign of the sickness. It is an actual denial of what we really want, because what we really want is freedom. What we really want is peace. What we really want is joy. But all these things that we have to strive for create stress, create hardships, create suffering. So it is in the surrender to the flow, to the divine flow, that we will receive what it is that we want. Okay. It comes through the surrender, not through the striving. And that's another, scripture talks about surrender plenty. Like if you come from a faith background, that should resonate. It's true for you. That should be a light bulb moment. Like, yeah. I used to think that I'm supposed to be the answer to my own prayers by, praying for it and then going out and getting it and making it happen. I was a very type A personality. Like, you go get it done. If you want it, you got to work hard for it. And that's the false narrative. That is denying yourself, because doesn't have to your true self doesn't have to work hard to receive anything in the physical. And let me reframe that, because it's not that you don't have to work hard. You don't have to work hard in the physical to receive what you want in the physical. The hard work is within. That's the taking up your cross. That's taking up your cross and finding your purpose is going within, because that's where your purpose will be revealed. And the revelation comes through transformation, comes through sanctification, comes through refinement. But most of us are not open to going within. Most of us feel like that's possibly even a waste of time, or many of us feel like it's too hard. But that is the hard work. Like all this, everything in your physical reality is just mirroring what's going on in here. So we work really hard to change what's happening out there. And that's problematic, because even if you manage to temporarily change your circumstances, it is universal law, scientific law, that this out here is a magnet. I'm sorry, your heart, your vibration is a magnet. And it's so your exterior world is just going to reflect what is going on in here. So even if you manage to temporarily change something, it must go back, or go in some way. It may not go back to what it was, but it will in some way go back to represent the same thing that it was before, if you didn't do the work in here. Okay. So deny yourself is denying the narratives of the thinking mind that say you can't have the things that you want. You can't experience joy in this life. You're not worthy of having more than this other person who's clearly smarter than you, or clearly more beautiful than you, or clearly, these are all false narratives. Okay. So figure out what it is that you want in your life, and then say, why don't I have it? What is it that I'm believing that's preventing me from having it? Now, also realize that as we change, as we start to shed those narratives and release and let go of those things, it takes a while for physical reality to catch up to your vibrational frequency, because physical stuff is more dense, right? It's heavier, denser energy. So it takes, you can change your mind on the drop of a dime, right? But changing anything in your physical existence just simply takes time. Okay. And it doesn't have to be a long time, but um, time is only a concept of this earth experience. So it's as much time as it needs to be for you to be ready for it. Time is your friend, not your enemy. Okay. We think of time as like a punishment of like, I want this and it's taking so long to get it. But time is your friend. It's actually serving you by saying, you want this, but you're not ready for it. So we're going to give you the space to get ready. And when you're ready, time is up and you will have it. Okay. So, again, denying yourself is a sign of sickness. And you might say, well, okay, but what if I'm wanting these things that aren't really good for me because my thinking mind's tricked me into thinking that this is what I want? It doesn't matter. Pursue when you free yourself from the chains of whatever belief system that you've believed that says you shouldn't pursue what you want. When you free yourself from that and allow yourself to just move forward towards whatever it is that you want, even if you're not going about it in the most healthy way, in the most enlightened and loving way, even if you're going about it in ways that might cause pain to others, or something like that, just giving yourself that freedom is going to start to bring healing, and it's going to start to open up the channel between you and your higher self, or you and God, right? And allow you to receive more pure downloads, more pure guidance that will bring you into healthier alignment with your desires. Is that making sense? Okay. So don't stress about, is this healthy? Is this holy? Is this, all those narratives? Just allow yourself to follow your joy, and the joy will naturally start to heal you and bring you into alignment with pure love over time, right? And pure love is something that I'm going to guess none of us will ever understand in this life experience. The whole purpose of the journey isn't to get to pure love, it's the journey towards it. It's just to see how far we can get, how close we can get, right? So quit pressuring yourself with being that perfect love. And just understand that even if you make a choice towards your highest, what you think is your highest joy, that that results in something that you perceive as hurting someone, just know that that is also for their good. Okay. We take on this burden of, we don't want to hurt others. Okay. You can't hurt anyone. Only they can allow themselves to be hurt by a person, a circumstance. You cannot control that. And when you live your life trying to tiptoe around everyone else's experience and feelings, um, your life becomes chaotic. There's no center, there's no peace in your life because you're dependent on, are they happy with me today or not? That is no way to live. Now, you don't want to go around being a dick to everyone, right? That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, let me give you an example. Actually, this is a perfect example. Okay, I've been talking with a friend recently who had an experience and had a little health scare, and the doctor said, you probably need to go have an ultrasound on this. I don't like the way this looks. They were able to get in the next day for an ultrasound because there was a cancellation. They called their boss and said, hey, I can't come into work tomorrow because this happened and I'm able to get in. And they're really stressed about this, right? Like it's really concerning for them. Um, uh, on one end of it, it could have really crazy implications, like the C word, right? So they really wanted to nip this in the bud. But then the boss kind of reacted like, I'm already understaffed, and kind of gave this kind of a response to it. And so then, out of guilt, my friend canceled the ultrasound and scheduled it for like 3 weeks out, the next opportunity that was available. So here's a situation where, instead of following their desire for the peace of knowing, even if it was bad news, there was going to be peace in knowing, right? So that they could plan forward. And instead of putting themselves first, what they said was, it's more important that I am a loyal employee. It's more important that I don't make my boss or my coworkers discomfort or uncomfortable with in a work day because I could have been there to help ease the burden, but I chose not to be. Okay. And so what they're saying is all of their comfort tomorrow is more important than my comfort tomorrow. Why is that? What is the narrative that you're believing there? And so for my friend, what I would say is that there's a narrative, there's a false self. That's the deny yourself, right? That's the thinking mind that has said, this is who you are. And if you are not a loyal employee, then who are you? Who are you if you're not a loyal employee? If you don't put these people's needs and feelings first, then something is wrong with you. That's the narrative. And we have a million of those kinds of narratives that we tell ourselves that keep us from experiencing the life that we deserve. That here's the thing, whatever negative feelings that my friend's boss and any of those employees might have felt about her not being there that day. Um, that's on that those negative feelings, and I say this to you guys all the time, they are just indicators to them that they're believing something that's not true. They needed that experience of negativity, if in fact it feels negative, to help them grow and learn, to help them see that like the things that they're believing about life aren't in alignment with divine truth either. Okay. So instead of taking on this burden that it's not, I have to make sure I don't make anybody feel negative. What you need to do is trust that however anybody feels about you is not about you. It's about them 100% of the time. And not to own any burden about that. There is no burden. Deny yourself, deny the thought that tells you that that's a burden. Take up your purpose and follow the path inward, the path to here, to the heart. That's the guidance. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I feel like I've talked a lot. Spirit, is there a message? Do we go again? Because we've been talking about taking up the cross. It feels appropriate to go to Loving words of Jesus. Do I start? You know what? I'm going to start with a biblical tarot because this message was really rooted, I think, in scriptures. Um, so I am. I'm going to start. Let me give these cards are too hard to do a regular shuffle. Sorry. I'm just going to give a shuffle here. And I'm just going to ask Spirit, like, show us maybe where we're at now with us, with this belief that, like, what does it mean? What does it look like to truly to deny ourselves? And how do we need to think about that differently? Okay, our card just popped out. How do we need to think about that differently rather than thinking about it as denying ourselves the joys of this life? Because that is not, Spirit is being very clear to me. Denying yourself and taking up your cross is not about denying yourselves the joys of this life. Okay, for sure. That is a misinterpretation. But I will also say this, that belief isn't wrong because it's not about right and wrong. That belief is true at certain vibrational frequencies. There are certain vibrational frequencies where denying yourself the truth, I'm sorry, denying yourself the joys of this life is what is required based on the vibrational frequency that if you're at that vibrational frequency, that will bring you comfort, that will bring you peace, that will bring you even to um, motivation to positive change in your life. Like that's okay if you do believe that. This message is clearly for, I believe, a group of people who are maybe moving out of that vibrational frequency into a different vibrational frequency that says, wait a minute, it's not about denying the joys. It's about denying the narratives of the human thinking conscious mind. Deny those narratives. Okay, so let's see what we get. We get Queen of Cranes, which is like the Queen of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Queen of Pentacles is like, she knows, and this is not about gender. This is the queen is about the energy of um the divine connection, right? To the flow of life, the flow of God within her life. Okay. But the Queen of Pentacles or Queen of Grains or Queen of Pentacles is about what we manifest in this life. It's about exactly what we're talking about, the desires of the physical. So the desires of our life are really an internal energetic thing that have to do with finding love, finding peace, finding value in ourselves, finding worthiness, finding hope, um, finding joy, right? But it all manifests in the physical. And Queen of Grains, Grains is all about the physical experience. So it's about the experiences that you manifest. It's about the relationships in the physical sense that you manifest. It's about the family that you cultivate, the friendships that you cultivate, the home that you build, the career that you establish, the things that you create in this life, the art that you create, the experiences you create, the relationships you create. And the queen is the master of it. I mean, you don't get better than the queen at this stuff, right? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it comes from Proverbs 31. It says the Proverbs 31 woman. And it says, she sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. My friends, you can have the desires of your life. Your lamp does not have to go out at night. Your oil does not have to run dry. Okay. If you think that it does, it's just a narrative you have chosen to believe. But thoughts and beliefs are not inherently true unless you decide they are. Okay. And this is a 13. It breaks down to a 4. So a 4 is about the foundational things that we believe. So what this is telling me is that you're ready from a foundational perspective, from a the roots of your belief system are ready to let go of that old narrative and embrace this new narrative where you can be the queen of your life, where you can fully I love this. I love that this group is like, you really have changed vibrational frequencies. You really do see now that that other truth, the card's already popped out, that that other truth is no longer true for you. It may be true for many, but it is no longer true for you. And that's the way that Jesus was trying to lead people when he said, deny yourselves, take up your cross and follow me. He was saying, in, follow me in, you know the truth in here. And here's what we get. Mark 12:30. This is our closing message from Jesus. Thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And let me tell you something. Loving the Lord your God starts with loving yourself and putting yourself first and saying, I do deserve to take the day off tomorrow, even if it makes somebody feel bad. If it makes them feel bad, That's not my issue. That's theirs. Okay. I deserve to put my desires first. And I'm going to leave it right there. Peace out. Thanks, everybody.